The confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,183,378. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 20,057. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 6,609, with total confirmed deaths at 163. We anticipate the numbers to change as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Christine Lee. It's 4 p.m. on Wednesday, February 24th. COVID-19 took the lives of more than 20,000 people in LA County, and public health officials are urging Angelenos to stay vigilant. New COVID cases and test positivity rates are going down, which are promising signs, but LA County continues to be in the most restrictive purple tier in the state's blueprint for a safer economy. Public health inspectors are visiting businesses daily to conduct compliance checks. They've noticed some restaurants had unapproved structures, tables that are less than 8 feet apart, TVs that are turned on, staff members who aren't wearing face shields, and stores that aren't monitoring the number of customers. Since Valentine's Day, more than 36 gyms, markets, restaurants, and salons were cited for not following COVID-19 guidelines. And since the end of August, more than 1,000 citations were issued. Good news for those of us who are still waiting to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Vaccine manufacturers say they will be boosting the supply next month to the United States. Pfizer expects to provide more than 13 million doses of its two-shot vaccine per week to the U.S. by mid-March. That's more than double the weekly number of doses the company was sending earlier this month. A Pfizer rep says they're on track to deliver 120 million doses by the end of March, and an additional 80 million doses by the end of May. Moderna is also ramping up its production. Its president says they're working to double its shipments to the U.S. by April and hope to deliver 40 million doses per month, which is roughly double the current pace. He added that they could improve output even more if the Food and Drug Administration authorizes them to include additional doses of the vaccine to each vial. So far, the U.S. received more than 75.2 million doses of vaccines, and about 65 million Americans are now vaccinated. Johnson & Johnson is one step closer to getting the green light for its vaccine for U.S. distribution. FDA scientists confirmed that the single-dose vaccine is about 66% effective at preventing moderate to severe COVID-19 and about 85% effective against the most serious illness. The agency also says it's safe to use and could help speed up vaccinations since it only requires one shot. Johnson & Johnson tested out its vaccine in 44,000 people in the U.S., Latin America, and South Africa. The vaccine was shown to be 72% effective in the U.S. trial and less effective in the other regions. This latest analysis sets the stage for a final decision to be made on this easier-to-use vaccine option. On Friday, the agency's independent advisors will debate if the evidence is strong enough to recommend the shot. The FDA is expected to make a final decision in the coming days. If it clears a shot for use in the U.S., a few million doses are expected to ship out during the first week. Then, the company plans to provide 20 million doses by the end of March and 100 million doses by the summer. Globally, Johnson & Johnson aims to produce around 1 billion doses by the end of the year. California's coronavirus variant is becoming the dominant strain here, and researchers believe it spreads more easily, is less effective against vaccines, and is tied to severe illness and death. Scientists at UC San Francisco studied a cluster of mutations and said it should be marked as a variant of concern on the same level as those from Brazil, South Africa, and the United Kingdom. Researchers from UCSF predict the California variant could make up 90% of the state's infections by the end of next month. The nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, says a survival of the fittest contest between the UK and California variants could speed up the spread of the strain that's less likely to be affected by the COVID-19 vaccines. He says the best way to prevent this is to get vaccinated, wear masks, and limit exposure to others. 324 hospitalized patients participated in this study at UCSF. The research found that 21% of them who contracted the California strain were more likely than their counterparts to be admitted to the ICU and 11 times more likely to die. False rumors are spreading throughout California about vaccine codes, and some people are getting their shots before it's their turn. Here in LA, the message sounds something like this. The government was testing the appointment system at a new COVID-19 vaccination site at Cal State LA, and you could help by using a special access code to sign up for a shot. State officials say this is a false message. The Cal State LA site has no such testing program. The access codes were actually a key part of a program designed to help get vaccines into the state's neighborhoods that have been hit the hardest by the pandemic. They were intended to address inequities in vaccine distribution. State officials had asked community groups to circulate the codes to their members at faith-based groups, labor unions, and nonprofits. The goal was to get these individuals to make appointments at sites in LA and Oakland. But the code started to get out more widely through group texts and emails, primarily to wealthier groups of people who were working from home in LA and not yet eligible for the vaccine. The code's intended purpose was not made clear to the message recipients when they checked the My Turn website set up by the state's public health department. And as a result, some Californians who don't qualify yet for the vaccine say they signed up and got the shots, not knowing that they weren't supposed to. Governor Gavin Newsom said the state will move away from the group access codes, and it's unclear at this time how many shots have been misappropriated. New guidance is on the way for those who are now vaccinated against COVID-19. Dr. Anthony Fauci expects the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to relax the rules, especially for those living in the same household who have gotten the shots. He's not in charge of the CDC, but has been a leading health expert during the pandemic. He says he'd personally be comfortable with fully vaccinated people getting together with their families indoors, but they should not dine indoors or go to the theater yet. The CDC has already relaxed some rules for people who are fully vaccinated. Earlier this month, the agency announced that they didn't have to follow quarantine rules. LA County passed a hero pay ordinance allowing frontline grocery workers to earn an extra $5 per hour over the next 120 days. The LA County Board of Supervisors voted 4-1 to adopt this urgency ordinance, which requires national grocery and drug retail employers in unincorporated areas of the county to pay their employees the additional wages. Supervisor Catherine Barger voted against the measure, citing unintended consequences and a concern that the ordinance only covers a small sliver of the essential workforce. The city of Long Beach passed a similar hero pay ordinance last month. As a result, grocery chain Kroger announced they had to close 2 of its Long Beach locations, a Ralph's and a Food for Less, because the new pay mandate posed additional obstacles for the already struggling stores. Golf legend Tiger Woods is recovering at a South Bay hospital after suffering from a serious car accident in Rancho Palos Verdes. He was involved in a single vehicle crash early Tuesday. The LA County Sheriff's Department says Woods was driving northbound on Hawthorne Boulevard in RPV on the border of Rolling Hills Estates when he struck a center divider, shot across the roadway, struck a tree, then rolled over several times before landing in a brush. The 45-year-old was pulled from the wreckage and underwent emergency surgeries on his right leg and ankle at Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Harbor City. A statement on his Twitter account says in part that he is awake, responsive, and recovering in his hospital room. Millions of well wishes flooded social media as news spread about this accident. The cause is still under investigation, and the Sheriff's Department says there was no obvious indication of drugs or alcohol involved. The Torrance City Council met online last night to discuss city business. Mayor Patrick Fury and the city council members proclaimed the first Monday of March as COVID-19 Memorial Day in the city of Torrance to honor all the lives lost due to the pandemic. City leaders also conducted a public hearing and adopted a resolution setting certain EMS fees to the LA County Emergency Medical Services Agency. The council approved to postpone the 61st annual Armed Forces Day parade and celebration due to the ongoing pandemic. Many other agenda items and administrative matters were covered at last night's meeting. You can read the full agenda online and catch the full meeting replayed on our channel, online and on demand. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The city's PALS program, which is short for People Actively Learning and Sharing, paired up with the Board and Brush Creative Studio for a virtual custom sign workshop. The PALS program is a social club for individuals 13 and over who have intellectual disabilities. It offers social activities and a quarterly newsletter for its members. And the Board and Brush Creative Studio in Torrance is a small business owned by Steve and Vivian Millett, who share a passion for crafting. It looks like the participants had a great time creating custom boards filled with hearts and the word love written on them. What a great way to stay creative and socialize with others during this pandemic. Now, if you have a great story, photo, or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow as Ben McCain brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.